Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you. We are here with Sara, who is the director of the Broken Phone Project, which is one of our screen dances that you're going to be able to see on the 23rd of July on Lago Film Fest this year, as part of the Moving Bodies project. Thank you for joining us, Sara. How are you? First, can you please introduce the Broken Phone Project? Sorry, for as a short description of the film for anyone who hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, Broken Phone Project. It's a dance film about the individual experiences that artists and dancers and people have had of the pandemic, and it's a way of creating connection and dialogue in the arts and in the regular world as well for the time of disconnect because of the pandemic. So yeah, this is an expression of this time and how we felt and are feeling.
Good. Oh, thank you very much. So how did the project start? I mean, what was like the first steps for it, and how long did it take you to like the whole process of making it?
Yeah, so basically the idea for the project came around last spring, so 2020, and this was during a time when I was locked in my tiny studio apartment in Amsterdam, and everything had shut down and the restrictions were very tough, and we were a little bit afraid of what's going to happen. And all of a sudden there was this disruption, and this brought up a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts, and there came the Broken Phone Project. And a lot of us went from moving from studios and theaters into moving in our tiny spaces at home. And I noticed that my own movement language was changing, and I noticed that I had a lot of I had a lot of differences in how my body wanted to move and how I felt about moving. So this is where the idea came from. Like, okay, instead of running away from this, let's look at it and let's see what this is about. And if maybe other people are feeling how I'm feeling and difficulty to connect and express and feeling a certain type of block. So basically, I just wanted to, at the core of it, I wanted to create this question of how are the people around me doing, and maybe I'm not the only one feeling this way and feeling so odd about it. So I just kind of wanted to throw out a more elaborate question to my peers of how are you doing, but through movement. And this is how we started, and we filmed. I guess we filmed in August 2020, and then later on, obviously, went through the post-production.
Good. Thank you very much for that. And so about that, did you already know the dancers who are in the piece? I mean, were they already colleagues of yours before, or did you meet them for this project? How did you select them? And did you have any? How was working with them? I mean, did you have any? Did you talk about this with them, or did you have any idea of how you wanted them to move? How did that process work? How was that process?
Yeah, so first of all, about the people. So Amsterdam dance scene is quite small. Like, most of the people, so they are indeed colleagues of mine. But there were many that I didn't know from before. So we actually organized an open call for the project to basically have people reach out to us who were resonating with this idea and wanted to explore with these themes. So then we got a lot of applications, and we made a selection also based on nationality, because we have a very international team. We have people from different countries, and we wanted to basically select one dancer per country. So we ended up having quite the international cast, but all of these people are based in the Netherlands. So that was one selection criteria of having this kind of, we wanted this project to reach from Amsterdam, but reach outward and also connect it to other locations as well. And so the name of the project, actually, the Broken Phone Project, is a Finnish translation of the game, the Chinese Whispers. I don't know if you're familiar with this game, but basically it's this game that children play at parties where you send out a message in a circle, you whisper it to the person next to you, and this message changes and comes back to the person who sent it out. So I didn't want to call it Chinese Whispers, obviously, during this time, but so I called it the Broken Phone Project. So basically what happened is that this film is based on a movement task. So I've created a movement task that asks the dancers to reflect this period of time and how they are feeling and whether they have experienced change in their own movement. And just how they're doing at this moment. And I sent out this movement task where 11 dancers in the film, and I sent it out from me to the next person in the chain, and to the next, and to the next, and to the next. So basically, we had 0 rehearsals, and I sent out this task and prayed that it's gonna come back to me in a somewhat of the form that I intended, obviously with the changes that come naturally, but yeah, and then this is a very new way of working for me as well. I'm somebody who really enjoys a lot of practice and have a certain need for repetition and wanting things to be a certain way. But I felt that this time requires something else. I wanted to look at the dancers as individuals, and that they can bring their own voice to it without a choreographer telling them, oh, do it this way, do it that way. I wanted this to be a project of multiple voices. So we met up with the dancers on 10 different locations on the days of the filming. And that was the first time that I saw each dancer's version of this movement task. And that was quite the surprise to me. And it was actually a fantastic process. So definitely this project demands a lot of input and creativity from the dancers themselves, but it has brought all of us so much, and it's been a very precious project to make. So I'm very happy that we chose this approach.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. This is a very interesting project. An interesting process. Sorry. And so my next question is: have you already worked with film before, or what is your background regarding that? Is this your first film? And do you come from choreography? Yes, many questions.
Yeah, many questions. So yeah, my background, I'm a dancer and a performer and a choreographer. So those are my bread and butter, I guess. And in terms of film, I've always had an interest for it. And I've been involved in film productions as a dancer, as an assistant, as working on the side of the production, but this was the first time that I was directing it and making it. So yes, this is my first film. And it was a very, very rich experience for me to have, to actually get to be on that side of it all, to make all those calls and put exactly the type of end, I don't want to call it the end product, but the artwork that it is. It was very, very lovely to get to carry that weight. Obviously, I have a fantastic team that helped me put everything together. But yeah, it's my first film, and hopefully there's many more to come.
Yeah. Hopefully. Congratulations for this one, by the way. And so, how did you pick the locations? I mean, knowing that this was a project that was made after the pandemic, did that make any connections with the locations that you chose, or did they have any connections with the idea that you had thought, or how was that?
Yeah, so all of the locations that you see in the film are in Amsterdam. So there are different spots, and a lot of it is public spaces, or actually all of them are public spaces. So Amsterdam is a very lively city. It's a very touristy place, and it has people from all over the world, and it's always something is happening. And currently, and when the pandemic started, everything kind of went quiet. Everything was stopping. Expats were moving out, and people who were visiting stopped coming. So the change that occurred also in the city of Amsterdam was very drastic. So I wanted to film in public places, in the streets, on spots that are usually filled with people, to kind of present these artists that you can see in the film in their home environment, where they are experiencing all of these things and how it feels for them, to place them in the context that also affected the theme for me so much. So yeah, that's where the locations came from.
Great. And another question is, how did you come up with the text? And did you come up with it, or did you have work with someone else to do it? The text that you present in the film, I mean.
Yeah, so I am a big fan of spoken word. I also write a little bit and read a lot of that and enjoy it. And for me, it's a very descriptive way, just as dances. And I wanted to include that into the film. And the text is written by Lynn Ampoa, and she is also a dancer, and she's a poet from Amsterdam. And she wrote this beautiful poem for the film. And actually, it was also a very enjoyable process, because our dancers obviously have a background story to the phrases that they have made. So each dancer reflects on the same points that the movement task asks them to do. And we asked all of them to say a few moments what is inside your movement phrase. What are the things that you have chosen? For example, one of the things in the movement phrase is the space that you spent the most time in. How does that space feel like? And people wrote little things about their movement phrase to Lynn, and she used those as an inspiration for the text, as well as her own experience of the pandemic. So in a similar manner, she was able to reflect on this time through this artwork.
That's great. Well, that's a whole very interesting project, how all of it comes together, and how you thought of how the same idea came to all of the areas. That's very interesting. And maybe my last question is, oh, not my last, I have one more question actually, before that, is how was the reception of the work? And when people saw it, once it was finished, what kind of comments did you get about it?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. This work was very lonely to make. All of this that came. So in addition to the dance film, we have collected a big movement archive that has these interpretations from almost 100 people from 30 countries. It's on our website. You can take a look if you like. So yeah, there's the movement archive, and there's a film, and I created a community of all of the dancers who participated in the project to also share about themselves and so on. So it's a really big project, but the work itself has been very lonely, of course, due to this time. I bet it's been lonely for most of us, but yeah, I made most of it in my kitchen and planned most of it by myself in my house. And then to share something that's kind of so private and so personal felt quite confronting. Also because I chose to use movement as the expression, because for me as a performer, movement is more genuine, and with movement I have more freedom to communicate what I want to say. And then to share it as a thing and discuss it, it felt a little bit confronting, but I'm very glad I did, because it has brought amazing things and I've met amazing people through it. So I'm very glad that happened, and the work has been received extremely well. Like I said, there's a lot of people involved. We have a big team of dancers. We have a big team making the film, and a lot of dancers and other people involved. And it's been, I'm very glad it's going to a lot of festivals. So that's obviously a great thing, to be able to share this work, because it's meant to be shared and it's meant to connect. So I'm happy that is coming, and we've been very fortunate to win some prizes from previous festivals. So yeah, the reception has been amazing, and I'm completely overwhelmed and very, very happy.
Oh, I'm glad. So now my last question is, do you have any comments or anything that you would like to share with somebody who is going to watch the film, or who is like yeah, who is going to watch the film for the first time, would you like to tell them anything if you could? If you could.
Yeah, I think I would say watch it just from the place that you are in. Watch it how you feel like watching it. Feel exactly how it makes you feel. Yeah, it's a work that it can meet you where you are at the moment. And I feel like that the dance itself and the work itself can explain it better than I can. So do watch it. And if you're interested in contributing, this is a collective work. You can go to our website, thebrokenphoneproject.com, and add your own interpretation. So if it inspires you to add to our movement archive, you can do the exact same movement task as all of the dancers are doing in this film and upload it onto our website, into our movement archive, and become part of this artwork. So that's what I would say. And yeah, enjoy.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and thank you very much to everyone watching. And I hope you can see the film again on the 23rd of July at Lago. And as long as with um, with every other film. And well, thank you very much, and thank you again, Sara, for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Um,